Let's take a couple of minutes and we'll walk through the audio settings menu on Pioneer's DEH-X4800BT. So from any source, and right now I'm on the AM/FM radio source, just press in on the volume control and roll along here until we find the audio menu. Here's audio, and we'll press enter. The first thing we see here is the fader control. Now if you don't see a fader control in your system, that's because you have the rear speakers switched off in the initial setup menu. So check out the initial and system setup and make sure you have your rear speakers switched on if you want a fader control. To operate the fader, we'll press in on the volume control, and here we can fade from front to rear with the system using the volume control. Once you've made those adjustments, you can go back and roll over to the next setting, which is our balance control. This is right to left. Press enter. Here we can balance the system from the right to the left. Make those adjustments so it sounds best to you. We'll go back. Roll over to the next setting, which is our EQ settings. And for more information about the EQ settings, check out the EQ settings video. Let's roll over to the next setting now, which is our loudness control. And right now, loudness is switched off. We can touch in on the volume control to switch loudness on to its low setting, one more time to mid, and one more time to the high setting. If I touch the volume control one more time, loudness is switched off. Let's roll over to the next setting, which is our subwoofer control, and right now the subwoofer control is switched off. Now if you don't see a subwoofer control in the audio menu here, that's because you have the subwoofer controls, the subwoofer output switched off in the initial menu. So go back to the initial menu and switch the subwoofer output on if you want to operate the subwoofer control here. So here we'll press in on the volume control and switch the subwoofer output on and in its normal phase. Touch it again and the subwoofer output is switched to its reverse phase. Touch it one more time and the subwoofer output is now switched off. So you can test this out in your vehicle to see which sounds best, normal or reverse phase. We'll roll over to the next setting, and this is our subwoofer control. Press in on the volume control to enter in there. And the first thing we can choose is the crossover point for the crossover frequency for the subwoofer. This is 80 Hertz right now, and we can use the volume control to roll back to 50 Hertz or up to about 200 Hertz. Choose the setting that works best for you there. Once you've made an adjustment, you can press in on the volume control, and we can decide to boost or cut that subwoofer output at the chosen crossover frequency. Once you've made those adjustments, press in again, and you can choose the slope between 12 and 24 dB per octave at the chosen crossover point of 100 Hertz. Once you've made those adjustments, we can go back and roll over to the next setting, which is our bass boost, and press enter. Here we can add a little more bottom into the system up to a +6, or take that back down to 0. Choose what works best for you, and then we'll go back and roll over to the next setting, which is our high-pass filter settings. We'll press enter there. Right now the high-pass filter is turned off. We'll switch it on and choose a crossover frequency by turning the volume control, and we can choose the same crossover frequencies that we have in the subwoofer output. So anywhere between 50 and 200 Hertz. We'll choose 100 Hertz for right now. Press in on the volume control, and we can choose the slope there, 12 or 24 dB per octave, whatever works best for you. When you're done making those adjustments, you can go back and roll over to the next setting, which takes us back around to our fader control. At any time, you can exit this menu by pressing the band button a couple of times to escape.